Hello, this is Chad Middleton from Vision Counseling and Vocational Consulting here in Columbia, South Carolina. We have some exciting news. We have another veteran that has utilized our services that we want to do a TDIU vocational evaluation success story. We have with us Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown came to us and we provided vocational evaluation services, but we wanted to hear from Mr. Brown about the services and the results of the vocational evaluation report. Good evening, Mr. Brown. How you doing today, sir?
Good evening, sir. I'm very well now. Thank you.
That is good. That is good. Now you came to us for a vocational consultation, an individual consultation first, or did you do a webinar?
I did a webinar.
Okay. All right. How did you find the webinar? Was it informational?
Absolutely. And I learned from all the people that were involved in it
Yeah.
that evening from their questions. I learned some things too. Um, and absolutely, the more people that you talk to,
Yeah.
the better idea of what sort of plan you can work. But you need to be very careful too and make sure that the people you talk to are like yourself and they're well informed, well educated, and know what they're doing. Because there's
Absolutely.
people out there that just aren't.
So very true. Now, I must say there's not a whole lot of vocational experts out there, but there are some experts that provide a whole lot of information about benefits and things like that. But when we came together for a webinar, and you heard some questions asked by other veterans, and it was very educational. But it helped you move to the second phase of our evaluation, which is the assessment. How was getting all of the information to me for the assessment? How was that process for you?
Getting it to you was easy. Getting the information that I needed was a little more difficult. Um, if you've been to CMP exams, getting the results of the CMP exams that you need to do a proper evaluation can be difficult depending on where you live. I'm in Northeast Oklahoma,
Mm.
and the regional office where you can acquire that information is the closest one is in Muskogee.
Mm.
So even getting in touch with them was difficult.
Right.
So you got to put the work in if you're going to make this happen and get the
Absolutely.
evidence that you need.
Yeah.
So I would tell any veteran out there, put the work in, find out where your regional office is, get the actual results of your CMP exams because the VA does not make them accessible to you
Right.
unless you ask for them, and they were actually mailed to me.
Mm.
Um, so it's going to be the slow route there, which took a little bit more time for me to get you what you asked for.
How long did it take you to get your DBQs mailed to you?
It it was the better part of a month
Oh,
before
that's
I
not bad at all.
actually
That's
received them. And keep in mind, I'm in nowhere, Oklahoma, so it's not as busy here for us for veteran services as it is in some place where maybe there's a lot more veterans, a bigger city or whatever. So it can take you quite some time to get those. And then, like I said, they were mailed to me and then get them transferred into an electronic format where I could send them to you.
absolutely. And that was essential. If I'm looking at your records now, you provided me your My Healthy Vet information from the VA Medical Center. You gave me a statement from your employer about the business going out of business or something like that, a DOT. You provided me your award letters and you provided me with your DBQs. There's two DBQs that you got me for your shoulder and arm, and also from your mental health condition. Um,
Yes, sir.
which was very valuable. And what you're saying is getting that information, although it was a little challenging, that information to me, once I got it, it was very essential in me doing a vocational evaluation report. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you for taking the time and requesting from the VA all of your medical documentation. That is a part of the assessment. So I tell my vets that look, take your time, get your DBQs, get your award letters, give me information about your employment. You did exactly that and got me the information that I needed. Now, once I got that information, I contacted you and say, hey, we're ready to do a vocational evaluation report. All right. How was that process for you when you submitted all your documentation and you got that call?
It was that was like a weight lifted off my shoulders when I got the call from you saying that you would do the report.
Yeah.
Anyone that's watched all of your videos as I have,
Mhm.
and I had before I talked to you the first time, knows that you take great pride in the fact that you take very good care of vets, and you're not going to do a report if there's not sufficient evidence there. So if well, as soon as you said that you were willing to do a report, I
Mm.
knew that I was going to be good to go.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because I get so much medical information, or I have so many requests from veterans that wanted a vocational evaluation report. But if I don't have the information, if I don't, I can't make up what your limitations are. I can't make up what your disabilities are. But a lot of the information that I get is from your medical records, from those DBQs, from those award letters. So I commend you for getting me what I needed to do the report. Now, we gave you about 30, 45 days to get the report done. Did you get your report in time?
In less than 30 days.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good. And
it was
after
it
reading
was
the
there.
report,
It was there in I would say about 26 days is when I received my report. And
absolutely,
I was very glad to have it early. And then once I got the report, essentially what I did was took all the information that I sent you,
right?
added the report to it,
Mm,
and submitted all that to the VA. I
okay.
don't I don't I don't think I added a single other thing
Okay.
to it. Um, Submitted it to the VA in early August,
Okay.
and it was Monday this week, so December, what is that, 12th?
Mm,
Um, is when I received word that they had completed their assessment of everything and that I'd been given 100% PNT. So
absolutely. Did you go to another CMP exam after you submitted the report?
yes, I did, and I'm
Okay.
glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
I went to two CMP exams, one orthopedic CMP exam for my shoulders because it's both shoulders that are messed up. And I also went to a mental health CMP exam. And it's critical for the veterans out there. You cannot miss those exams, and you have to be ready for them when you go in there and know how you're going to present it. As
Mm,
a Marine, we're used to sucking it up and just taking it. But when you go in there, you need to make sure that you describe your condition on your worst possible day,
mm,
not just because you're having a good day today. And
right.
then a little scary thing that I hadn't notified you about before was I got a message that I was going to have more CMP exams.
Mm,
And that was odd to me. So I made some phone calls, and the VA could not answer the question.
mm,
They just said, yes, we schedule more CMP exams.
mm,
I called the company. Um, I can't remember the name of them right now, but I called them to see what these additional CMP exams were for, and they were not in-person exams for me. They were for a medical opinion. So they
right.
had another doctor
Right.
review all of my records, take a look at them to make sure. And I think that part was to decide if it was my conditions were bad enough that they would make it permanent and total.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay.
So
So
that's what happened.
we did the report prior to you having those CMP exams, right? Those extra CMP exams.
I'm sorry, I got a phone call there for some reason.
Okay. You got the report, the vocational evaluation report before you had those extra CMP exams, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I once I got the vocational report from you, I sent all that information in.
Okay.
Then I went to the CMP exams, and now it took about 2 months for them to schedule those C&P exams.
Right.
Then after those were done, I checked my VA app frequently. I could see that it had been updated, probably from the results of those C&P exams. You can't really tell that. And then it was after that, almost a month after that, that I received an email saying that there were more C&P exams being scheduled.
Okay.
And that's when I made the phone calls. That was just before Thanksgiving.
Mm,
When I received that, the Monday after Thanksgiving, I made those phone calls to find out what was going on,
mm,
and found out that it wasn't an in-person, it was just an official medical opinion that
okay.
they wanted from a separate doctor. And I have to believe, like I said, that that was so that they could determine how serious my conditions were and if it was going to put me in a permanent and total evaluation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in the vocational evaluation report, from what your rating was initially, describe some of the limitations that I felt that you would experience on any job, right?
Oh,
So
huh.
when they had the CMP exams, did they make mention at all the report, the limitations at all when you went into the in-person CMP exams?
um, I'm trying to remember. Uh,
Okay.
when I went to the orthopedic exam for my shoulders, which is both, um, that doctor flat out told me in the beginning that he had not reviewed the medical evidence that was sent to him.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay. I said, and I was a little upset by that. And I was very blunt with him. And I said, so are you gonna allow me to speak and let you know? Because I've been to CMP exams before where they didn't. They
Right.
asked you a question, it was yes or no, that was it.
Mm,
And you really didn't get to tell your part of the story.
mm.
And he said, absolutely, I want to hear, what's going on with you so that I can make a determination. He was very good at that point. And I felt like that CMP exam went very well.
Very
And
good.
then when I went to the mental health evaluation, the same thing. I went in there and I was very blunt and direct with the gentleman and told him, I don't want you to just ask me yes or no questions. Let me tell my side of what's gone on with my case so that I can explain to you how it's affected everything with my work and my social life.
Absolutely.
And especially on the mental health side, I feel like that's critical. And he did. He listened. And I don't have those CMP exam reports,
Right.
so I don't know what they took into context other than what I told them. But I can't emphasize enough to veterans, you have to be prepared for those CMP exams and know exactly what you're going to say and how to address them. That is your opportunity to tell your side of the story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, briefly, when you came to us, you was rated at 80%, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. You had a 50% rating for what? What was your rating total, if you don't mind us knowing about that information?
Oh,
You're
I don't
already
mind at all.
okay,
I don't mind at all. I had a 50% rating for mental health,
right?
major depressive disorder, anxiety, mood disorder, um, which, if I may, a lot of veterans try to claim PTSD. The same symptoms that I just described that I've been diagnosed with,
Yeah,
those are PTSD, but they're separate symptoms. And sometimes it's easier to get the VA to understand what's going on with you without calling it PTSD.
no doubt.
Um, the other things that I had was 20% for each shoulder. Um, in my service record, it was listed as shoulder strain. And
Right.
then, but as you get older, it turned into tendonitis, osteoarthritis, bone spurring,
Mm,
um, issues with tendons and rotator cuffs as well.
okay.
And then I had a 10% rating for a middle finger on my right hand, that was crushed in an accident on a tank. And then I had 10% for tinnitus. Um, I think that's it.
Okay. All right, very
That
good.
gives us
So total 80%. The most severe condition was the mental health at
yes,
50. You had 20% for each shoulder. All right.
yes,
We did an evaluation, we did a client profile, and we determined that you had limitations in your ability to do pushing, pulling. You had limitations in your ability to do a lot of heavy lifting. Um, and your mental health affected your ability to do work around people, around loud noises, around certain types of stress. It affects you.
absolutely.
What type of work were you doing or were you trained in before coming to this evaluation?
For the last 15 years, I've been a truck driver.
Absolutely. So,
Um,
so your disabilities not only affected you from doing most jobs, specifically, it affected you from doing truck driving work with two shoulder conditions, mental health problems, with your ability to drive during panic, during production, um, having to meet strict deadlines. All of these things were being affected by your service connected conditions, correct?
Absolutely. And specifically the overhead lifting, as far
Yeah.
as my orthopedic issues, and then for the mental health issues, I got to the point where I didn't feel like I was safe anymore. And then once for a DOT exam, which you have to have at least every 2 years, but I also have high blood pressure. So
Mm,
I had to have it every year. When
mm.
you have to have that exam, one of the questions on there is, have you been diagnosed with any mental health issues? And they list them out, depression, anxiety, and all that. So
Absolutely.
if you have, they have to be under control. And the medications that the VA prescribes for you, there's no way that you can be behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler and take those medications and feel like you're safe on the road. So
Absolutely.
I I did a voluntary revocation of my DOT authority. I was owner operator truck driver,
Yes,
and
sir.
then I also surrendered my DOT license and just got a regular license.
Very
Um,
good.
and I mean that my family went with my wife went with me a lot, so it was a safety issue
Yeah.
for me, but I mean it took away my ability to work. That I absolutely did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here was the challenge with doing your report. I knew from my experience that the VA would have denied you had you not had a vocational evaluation report. And the reason why they would have denied you is because they felt like you could do sedentary employment. That means that they felt like they were going to feel like you can do office type work, you can do sedentary work. So when I recognized that, I put information in your report to reduce even the potential of doing sedentary work. I wrote in the report sedentary work is also precluded from this veteran because of the restrictions that you have with the mental health. And that is
Absolutely.
what I believe really forced the VA to find another reason to deny you. And after they saw the report, after they seen the evidence that you provided to them, they came out with a favorable decision granting your TDIU benefits, correct?
Absolutely. And then without that report, I, I'm sure I'd still be fighting this battle.
No
And
doubt.
I can't tell you what a load it is off my mind that it's done. And and now I have the benefits that I deserve based off all the service connected injuries that I incurred.
That's good. So let me ask you a couple questions then. First of all, were you reluctant at first
To
to get the
to get
vocational evaluation report or to go through our process?
no, not necessarily. I did my research. I watched hundreds of videos on
Mhm.
YouTube. I watched all of your videos on YouTube. Um, and I did my research to make sure. And one thing that I was confident in by using your services is you won't give your services
That's
to
right.
someone who doesn't deserve it.
That's facts.
If if you say yes, I'm going to write a report for you, then that's gonna that meant a lot to me. It
Absolutely.
absolutely meant a lot to me, and I knew that that was going to be a great help because the VA, I'm sorry to say, looks for any way they can to not give a veteran his benefits, and you have to go in loaded for bear.
No doubt.
And
No doubt.
I felt like
One
I
more
had that.
question. One more question. Do you feel like the services were worth the amount that you paid for them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Many veterans look to attorneys to handle these situations for
Right.
them,
Right.
and if you look at the cost that some of those attorneys charge, as a matter of fact, I think there's an investigation going on about what they're doing, and they don't guarantee you anything. They're not an expert
Right.
in an occupational field that's
Right.
going to be able to say without a doubt, because they have the education and the training to be able to help you and say that as an expert, this gentleman is no longer qualified to do any sort of employment.
No doubt.
And you have to go to the people that can help you. And Mr. Middleton, you absolutely were the right choice for me. And that money was money well spent, every penny of it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Any final words that you would say to any vet that is eligible for TDIU and considering applying for TDIU without the vocational evaluation report?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Right,
You're going to end up in an appeals process, and
right.
then you're just wasting time that you could have benefits. And this is not just about you, it's about your family, and it's about taking care of your future. And if you're in a situation like I am, it's critical. So do your research. But if you're watching this man's video and hearing my voice, then I'm telling you from experience that he's the one. If he says that he's going to write an evaluation for you, then you are going in loaded for bear, and
No
you
doubt.
have the evidence that you need. Just send everything that you sent Mr. Middleton along with his evaluation to the VA, and may God bless you. Thank you, sir, so much for helping me.
Thank you very much for checking out our videos. The videos are on YouTube, and people have the opportunity to check out the videos. But it took your contacting our office, participating, and not only just participating, giving us your medical records so that we can provide you exceptional service. And I am exceptionally proud and happy that these benefits worked out for you. Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. I'm going to put this on YouTube and for our listeners to hear, and just be on the lookout because some of them may have questions for you. So if you check this video out on YouTube and you see some people with some questions, it's okay for you to just go ahead and just answer them as well. I'm going to answer as many of them as I can as well.
That's the last thing I'd like to say. If there's any veteran out there that wants to contact me and ask me any questions, I'm here. If I can help you, that's just one more blessing in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you once again. I appreciate your service, and I thank you for considering vision counseling and vocational consulting all the way over here in South Carolina to help you over there in Oklahoma. So we'll be in touch with you real soon. And if you have any other people that would like an evaluation, just send them my way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Take care of yourself.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.